Hi, welcome to a new video. I'm Eduardo Lina. Using Moodle, you can teach reading comprehension and help your students improve their reading comprehension skills. This topic, General Strategies for Reading Comprehension, is an example of how Moodle can be used for that. Of course, when you use it with your students, you will have them in mind, just like I have teachers in mind when creating this learning unit. Notice that I'm using Moodle with the role of a student. This means that you see the platform as a student would see it. I am now using a Moodle resource called Lesson. In this section, I will focus on using prior knowledge of previewing and predicting as two strategies to help my students improve their reading comprehension skills. I want students to use vocabulary they know, so I start with a picture. If the lesson is completely on Moodle, then I will ask my pupils to use their notebook so that they look at the picture and answer different questions. If, as a teacher, I have the opportunity to meet my pupils, for example, on Zoom, I will have this exercise done during the live virtual classroom meeting, perhaps in breakout rooms, perhaps with the entire class. It depends on the group and it depends on the teacher. I would do this while sharing my screen. Having done the previous exercise, pupils will probably know that they have to deal with something related to food and restaurants. So the logical next step would be to have them read a menu and answer reading comprehension questions. This is a very basic level, but it can be done in different levels depending on the group that a teacher has. In this case, the questions are quite simple. A Moodle lesson provides teachers with the possibility of asking different comprehension questions. In this case, I have chosen a multiple choice question, but if you check a Moodle lesson, you will see that you can have even more types of questions. If the answer provided is correct, then the student will be taken to another page, another question in this Moodle lesson. If the answer is wrong, the student will stay in this page and will be able to answer again. It is always a good idea to provide more practice. You can use Moodle to use something that has been created by someone else. Notice please that I have gone back to my role of a teacher and I have clicked on the Edit button in order to add a Moodle resource. I'm going to choose a Moodle resource called URL that will allow me to bring an external source into Moodle. I based the previous activity on one created by Learn English Teen, British Council. That is why the activity that I'm going to bring into Moodle is precisely that one. In order to do that, I have added a URL, copied and pasted the URL address of that British Council Learn English Teen activity, copied the name, and uploaded it as a pop-up on my Moodle platform. This way, when pupils access that activity, it will appear in a separate window, in a pop-up. Both activities are meant to reinforce their reading comprehension skills of my students using the two strategies I have focused on. Let us see this from the point of view of a pupil. The pupil will access that URL and will be able to do the reading and the practice all by himself. This activity will not appear in the gradebook of the pupil because it will be done using an external tool. The Moodle lesson that I prepared will also not appear on the gradebook because I created it as a practice lesson. But I could have done the same using it as a lesson whose grade would have been taken into account. And I can do the same using other Moodle activities too, such as a quiz. Thanks very much for your time and goodbye.